Now, if I tell you why ETF are a good investment for beginners, let me show you my portfolio of which I invested in an ETF about a month ago, and currently the ETF is doing about 40% increase. Now, imagine if you have invested 100,000 naira in that ETF, you would have gotten about 40 something thousand naira as return on investment or as an increase. Now, you can trade that ETF and get the money for yourself. If you've invested 200,000 naira, you'd have gotten about 80 something thousand naira in about a month's time. Now, it's amazing that some persons don't really know the power of an ETF or how this ETF work, and that's why they are neglecting investing in that ETF. They can invest in stock, they can invest in mutual funds, they can invest in also treasury bill and commercial paper, but they are neglecting ETF. And the purpose of this video is that I want to tell you what ETF is, how it works, and how you can get started investing in ETFs. If videos like this interest you, do want to hit that subscribe button, because here on Waxfly TV we'll talk about investment and how to go about making some cash for yourself. Now, when it comes to ETF, it means exchange traded funds. It's a pool of investments where there are lots of assets inside that pool, or there are lots of assets inside that basket of investments. In an ETF, you can get 20 stocks of different companies, or you can get 30 stocks of different companies depending on the ETF. What the ETF manager do is that they put a basket of investment, putting lots of shares inside or stock from various companies, and once you are getting that ETF, you are getting a fraction of these companies. And most ETFs replicate an index fund. What they try to do is that they copy that index fund and they trade with that index fund. For instance, the Stanbic IBTC ETF 30 copies or replicates the Nigerian Stock Exchange index. So what they do is that they get the 30 most profitable company in Nigeria at the moment, or the 30 most performing company at the moment, and that's what they invest your money into. Now, when you invest in that ETF, now you are not just buying one company, or you are not just buying stock of one company. Let's say you are not just buying stock of Dangote Cement, you are buying stock of O&O, you are buying stock of Okumo and some other company in that portfolio. So what the asset manager do is that they get all this stock into a basket for you to invest. Now, what are the benefits of an ETF? Based on what I've explained, I guess you already know one of the benefits: diversification. Now, an ETF helps you to diversify. If you are new to investment, there are greater chances that you don't really know how to pick a stock. You don't really know the variables to check out for when you want to go about picking a stock, because of there are lots of things you need to check out if you want to pick a good stock and if you want to know if the stock will perform well. Now, ETF is the great way for you to get started, because once you get the ETF, you're not just picking a stock, you are diversifying in lots of stock. Now, when it comes to investment, diversification is key, because if one portfolio is not doing well, or if one asset is not doing well, the other one might be doing well, and it balances the loss you are getting from the other place. Let's say you are losing like 10% in this investment and the other one is gaining 20%. You are not actually losing, because of the other investments are performing well. So that's the benefit of diversification, and ETF helps you to diversify. Also, it is managed by asset managers, people that are professional when it comes to picking stock. Now, because they pick the stock in a pool of investment, you don't get to pick the stock yourself. Before you invest in that ETF, they have already picked some stock in that pool of investment, or if the stock is not performing well, they tend to remove it and put another stock in a pool of investment. So the great thing about the ETF is that there are professionals that handle your investment for you. All you have to do is that you get that ETF, and there are people out there that tend to put the stock and put a good one for you so that you make some profit. And the third advantage of investing in ETF is that it is highly liquid. By it being highly liquid, it means you can sell or buy at any time. Now, this is like a stock, and ETF is like a stock, but this time around there are lots of stocks inside that pool or that basket. Now, it's highly liquid in that you can sell your stock at any time, or you can buy at any time. There are some investments that are not all that liquid, because you cannot be able to liquidify your investment, you cannot be able to sell out your investment if you've bought it already. But ETF is not like that. The same way you can sell or trade the stock market, that's the same way you can trade using ETF, or you can trade an ETF. Now, you just get to buy. Once that's appreciated in price, you can get to sell in no time. It does not really take too long. The same way you can get Dangote Cement individually, that's how you can get an ETF. And same way you can sell Dangote Cement individually, that's the same way you can sell an ETF also, so it's very more seamless. Now the fourth advantage of investing in ETF is that it is highly transparent. By it being transparent is that most asset managers tell you the stock they are investing in. So for instance, the Stanbic IBTC ETF 30 invest in the 30 most reputable companies in Nigeria, or 30 companies that are doing well. You already know those companies before you go in ahead investing in it. It is listed in their asset manager's website, so you get to see these 30 companies before you go about investing in them. So most ETF are like that. They'll tell you where they are investing your money, and once you go ahead investing with them, that's where they are going to invest your money. Also, ETF have low cost. You don't get to put a huge amount of money before it gets started. It is pretty much low cost. They are investing in 30 companies, 50 companies, 20 companies. It does not mean that it will be very much high or expensive for you to buy. So this is how you can benefit from investing in an ETF as a beginner. It is that easy. So how do you get started investing in ETF? Now, you don't really need to create lots of accounts. With just AfriInvestor 2.0, you can get started investing in ETF. The video I earlier showed you of my investment in an ETF, that's Stanbic IBTC ETF 30, that is currently doing 40% increase. I invested using AfriInvestor 2.0, and you can get started. All you have to do is to create an account with AfriInvestor 2.0, or you can use any of your brokerage company. After creating your account, you can now get started searching for an ETF you want to invest in. You can invest with the likes of Stanbic IBTC ETF 30. What they do is that they replicate the Nigerian Stock Exchange 30 index, and any company the Nigerian Stock Exchange 30 index fits into that index. The Stanbic IBTC ETF 30 also fits it also, so that they get started investing there also. Now the next ETF you can get started with is the New Gold ETF. Now they invest in real gold. You can get started with them also. You can also invest in Diversify ETF. Now this Diversify ETF tracks the S&P Nigerian Sovereign Bond Index. What it is that they track the FGM bonds type of investments and other bonds that are out there. So they invest your money in those federal government debt kind of instruments. So that's where they invest your money. There is also the SIAML in pension ETF. What it is that they track the Nigerian Stock Exchange Pension Index. There are about 40 of them, and they invest your money in there. Now all these ETF, they track an index and they replicate it, and what they do is that they invest your money in those indexes, or in the investment that is in the index they track. So you don't get to do anything. Once you buy it, you can go to rest and the asset manager do the work for you. Now they invest your money in various companies and you get to see the profit. So as a beginner, don't get started cracking your head on how to go about getting a stock or the things you need to know before choosing the right stock for yourself. You can get started with ETF, and when you start making some profit, you can also start making some research on how to go about choosing your stock yourself. Myself, I'll still be investing in ETF. I'll still be investing in stock out there and some other investments out there. Talking about if ETF are high risk or low risk, the truth is that some ETFs are high risk because they invest in stocks. Now you should understand that the stock market can be highly volatile. When they put your money into a stock, there are greater chances that the stock might not perform well, sort of. Now the instance I use that I'm getting about 40% return on investment at the moment in Stanbic IBTC ETF 30 is a great instance, but there are some other ETFs that might not be performing greatly at the moment, and if I'd had those ETFs, I would have also used them also as an instance for me to show you how ETF can perform negatively at a particular time. So when it comes to investment, you should have it at the back of your mind that it's not a guarantee that all investments will perform well always. There are times when investments might be going down, and the rule of investment is that when it is going low, buy. When it is going high, you can sell. So what I do is that once my investment is depreciating in price, I tend to buy, or I don't tend to panic. I tend not to do anything about it. But once it's appreciating in price, if I wish to sell, I sell off that investment. I guess this video will help you understand how ETF works, how to go about getting started investing in ETF, and also how to get some ETF yourself. If you want more content like this, well, to hit that subscribe button as we keep bringing you ways to go about making some cash online. Don't forget to also like this video, drop your comments in the comment section if you have any questions as regards everything that have been said today. Till our next one, peace.